Welcome and hello and welcome and hello and welcome and hello. Happy Monday evening to you. Hope it's a great one. Hope it's been just a fantastic Monday. Before we get started, let me say welcome and hello and welcome and hello. Thank you for joining me on an extremely special edition of Un Poco Mas, guys, the show where we give you just a little bit more. Thank you for joining us. Welcome and hello. They call me cornbread because I'm moist, doughy, and I crumble under pressure. They call me the tugboat because I'm short in stature. I pull more than my own weight, and I'm rarely far from my home port. They call me Stubby Cohiba because I once accidentally cut part of my penis off with a blender while manscaping just outside of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So anywhere in South Florida, they now call me Stubby Cohiba. I don't know where I come up with this shit. They call me Mini Water because I am short, round, and I'm all wet. No, I just made that one up. That's really stupid. What's up, Jesse? Yeah, I like to give you a little tease. SMCI, it's like, okay, they fixed the price at 50. They're not letting it go up. They're returning some shares while they're kind of shorting during the day. It's kind of reached that equilibrium where a lot of bulls are starting to kind of question the momentum. CRSP, I think, is the opposite. CRSP, I think, goes much, much higher. I think CRSP goes into the triple digits. The essential reason is there are no shares available. Okay, they're not making no shares available like a katana or perhaps a Bowie knife. If my boy Alfred E. Newman is here. No, anyway, guys. So CRSP on the day, very pedestrian volume, 2.4 million shares. It was actually a green day if you look at sort of a wider chart because of, the stock opened at 55.84 and it closed 60 cents higher. So depending on how you look at it, most people would say that's a green candle because they're just abusing the stock, abusing the stock pre-market. So that's kind of how that goes. But I'm telling you, these guys just decided, the shorts decided, the price fixers decided 60 is the top. The stock's not going any higher. But then reality knocked and it's like, hello, McFly. You're already shorting, 28% of the free float. You're borrowing 40 million shares, which was all well and good when it was 0.3% cost to borrow. But now you're living in the real world, sport. Now cost to borrow, you're talking about average 10.5 and max 14.4. Now there's more shares available, 1.2 million, but I think that's just some bulls were basically being, opportunistic and saying, okay, if there's no shares available and these shorts, have their nuts in a cheese grater, just bent over a barrel, taking a guided tour of the lower 48. By God, I'm a bull. I'm going to keep these shares anyway. I don't plan to sell these shares. Why not sit back and make 11 to 14% interest loaning these, useless jabronis my shares while they twist in the wind because it's not going to do them any good anyway. All they are is delaying the inevitable, and they think they're tricking someone or being clever by killing these calls. It's the other side buying these calls. This isn't retarders loading up on 11,000 calls. I mean, some of us are, just the stupid fat ones. But I mean, guys, so what's happening here today? They only took 215,000 shares off the short position. Now, borrowed change is 673. Borrowing and actually selling short, or it can be one operation if you're a retarder on like a Webull screen. But if you're an institutional investor, you borrow blocks of shares and you sell short, I think, separately at different times for different reasons. I look at it like the borrowed shares are the battle plan, and then, the short selling is the actual shooting. So you're laying a foundation with the borrowing, I think, for a future short attack, but none of that panned out here. There was no bad news. There were no, patients dying or hospitalized. You got incredible news on the cardio in vivo pipeline. And if you look at objective reality, Vertex, who is an extremely sophisticated, large pharmaceutical company that makes an absolute ton of money, Vertex valued Casgevy at $9 billion when they bought their last 10% for $900 million. They valued that one program much higher than the current market cap of this company. Okay, the market cap still is less than $5 billion. And remember to temper that figure by realizing they have about $1.8 billion in cash and almost no debt. So if you take the cash out, The whole market cap, they're valuing the entire pipeline at the entire future of this company, including the guaranteed payments. Almost, no, well, not guaranteed, but the payments they're going to get as Vertex ramps Caskevi, which they're going to. They're valuing that whole pipeline at $3 billion for all these promising, leader of the pack therapies that they own wholly. CRISPR owns entirely and is developing all on their own. They're giving all that 1/3 of the value that Vertex placed on Caskevi. It doesn't make sense, guys. And if it don't make sense, it don't make dollars. These guys are conning you. They're conning you. They said, hey, we're calling a top here at 60. Look at this. Okay, you see it try to work its way up, try to work its way down. This little gap right here, this has been filled. Look at this candle. It precisely filled that gap right here. You see it. The low, I don't know what the low is, 54.93. And then the high over here, I don't know what it is, 54 or what? 55.06. So the gap's been filled. If you're, believing, the kind of guy who likes to fill the gap, not going to pull your misses. She might, call you out telling fish stories. But look at what's happened here, guys. So look at this. We have 3 tests, okay, back up off this figure, off this 56.40. Now, this was a pivot. See how it comes down and it's support. It comes down here 3 times, basically acting as support, breaks through, comes up and is acting as resistance. The algo has decided this is a pivot. It's basically arbitrary. It's based on some, cockamamie retracement. They're, they program in as their birthright when they go to these business schools and, do a bunch of cocaine because their dad is some like powerful lawyer or whatever. And then they get out of business school and, nobody's ever told them no. And they just, they engage in this sort of habitual rabid short selling. Somebody's pointed out, hey, they were shorting all the growth stocks. Not really true. I mean, very few had, stocks like this with a long runway, no perceivable negative catalysts coming that we know about, like a lot of possible good catalysts, deals, readout, etc. A company that's just seems to be, in my opinion, trading way too cheap. I mean, the good analysts have this thing trading, or not trading, but their targets are anywhere 80, 90, 100, 65. I mean, only the, step on the nuts hacks have this thing down at 40, 45, 50, whatever it is. A lot of people think it's just tremendously undervalued by like half. So look at the difference here. So you see this try to break through on 714, and then you see it try to break through again. So what do you see though? You see absolutely no volume, little red. This is just controlled price action. Look down here at the volume. What do you see on this move? Huge green candle, and green volume coming into it. Look at the end of the day today. Look at what you see. All the volume, this is like so many dailies on this. All the volume is here in the green and here in the green and here in the green. The only few big red candles there are on these walk downs. The end of the day, this last 18 minutes, there's more volume in this day than the last 18 minutes than like the previous several hours. That's the Fugazi. That's the price fixing. They can't keep it here, guys. I know what you're saying. Hey, Danny, you're a big idiot. But another key is the share structure, the ownership structure. Institutional longs own 88%, they're saying. Now, that includes these pharma companies. This is absolutely critical. Ortex lists them as insiders. Bayer, they own 6% of the company, 5.6 million shares. Keep in mind, guys, there's only 86 million shares in existence, or slightly more. I know there's probably a few warrants and things out there, so don't say, hey, you're a big fat liar. You didn't talk about the warrants. Fuck you. How about that? You and your technicalities. Why don't you be one of those Captain Sabaho, like spell and grammar check guys down in the comments? Don't you mean THEIR? Fuck you. Got time to sit in the comments and correct everybody's grammar. Maybe the guy's English is like his 4th language. Maybe he just doesn't give a shit. Maybe he's dyslexic. Maybe he's narrating to his phone and his phone's stupid. Just don't be the comment grammar police. Just don't do it. That's mostly died, thank God. Who are you, my grandma? Get out your red pencil. Jesus. Ugh. Anyway. Then, of course, Veritex not only owns 60% of Casgevy, the FDA approved, sickle cell deal, ex vivo, of course. They're also, own 6 million shares of the company. So that's, almost 10%. I think there's been some split because they say it's percentage of the companies here. No, it's not 6 million shares. That's a percent. 5 million shares, 5 million for Bayer. And then Celgene owns 3.7. And then GlaxoSmithKline owns 3.22. So these pharma companies own almost all the shares that institutional longs don't own, because they basically are institutional longs. They're just not financial companies. They're pharmaceutical companies. So I guess they're considered insiders to Ortex rather than institutional owners. But it's really neither here nor there. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Same difference. Same difference is such a stupid saying. Oh, you hate that. I hate that. I hate you if you say that. Institutional put call ratio, still looking good. Puts have basically remained totally flat for the last year, and calls went down and then they went way back up. So institutions not only own the shares, they're betting on things are long. I think shorts are just, completely on the wrong side of this one. And remember, I've showed you the data. They've been just shorting this thing like maniacs for months. I mean, this isn't like new. They were shorting at 30, at like 65, 70% ratios. It's just absolutely wacky. Now, if you look at the short volumes now, they're still shorting when they have to step on the stock and control the price. But honestly, it looks like they're giving up. Look at these ratios. They were all the way up in the high 60s, 70s, only one time in 55. Last 3 days below 60. Yesterday, 46. Today, just 50. These are pretty high numbers for most stocks. I mean, NEO was 50 today. You say it's high. But with CRISPR, you say it's low because they short like rabid maniacs every single day. Imagine a wolf with rabies just ripping your throat apart. You're Liam Neeson thinking about shooting yourself anyway. You're like, well, fuck it. Get eaten by wolves. Ugh, my wife died, and his wife really did die, I think, in a skiing accident or something. I'm not sure if that's right. Might be thinking of Sonny Bono. A lot of people die in ski accidents, man. You got to stay on the trail. If you're not an expert, you're just some, dingbat celebrity. Hey, I'm going to triple diamond off. You're dead. It's not good, man. Know your limits. That's been key to my survival as a sort of dumpy, pear-shaped, fat turd. I know my limits. I'm not doing like a triple gainer backflip off a rock face. Just try to impress some girls or something. Anyway, guys, what's up, Jay? What's up, Bryson? Who the hell are you guys? Two brothers. Yep. It's going up, two brothers. I think next stop is 89. This thing can move so fast. I mean, just try to put the puzzle pieces together. Think about the fact that they're borrowing 38 million shares. They're shorting 26 million shares. And this stock only traded 2.4 million shares today in churn. The shares sold short like seashells on a seashore. The shares sold short are more than 10 times today's churn. The shares sold short are about 30% of all the shares that exist. The shares on loan are 40-some% of all the shares that exist. Utilization is 100%. Cost to borrow is ranging from 10.5 to 14. And that is on the shares on loan, not is on what's sold short. So it's not 1.5 billion they're borrowing. It's more like 2.3 billion or something like that. You people who are smarter and have more fingers than me, sick. You could probably do a more accurate calculation. CRISPR hits it first, Jesse. CRISPR hits it first. It's just SMCI has too many skeletons in a closet, too many things they can attack. I don't think the shorts are done with Uncle Chucky and Aunt Sarah by any means. I think they intend to, drag him out behind the woodshed and beat the living shit out of him a few more times. Maybe rake the wigger over the coals, remind him that he's not, up to the job of moral responsibility in the role of a CFO, but gets the job done, man. I think most of us, like most public companies, they could put out their values all they want, all this bullshit, mission statement, saving the world. They're there to make a buck. They're there to drink good wine, churn and burn, pretend like they're going to save some trees, and then just bet on the ponies and just drink fucking ridiculously expensive bottles of wine down San Jose, just laughing it up, spending your money on blue blazers with elbow patches and brass buttons. Aunt Sarah just boxing exactas like a champion. The wigger just selling all his shares while he makes these deals. It's like, yeah, don't worry, I'm dumping all my shares, I imagine the wigger is kind of like, it was that guy, I think he passed away, but he's like the guy in Austin Powers who's like explaining things. He was also like this, wasn't the $6 million man, it was another guy. I can't remember. Getting so old, I can't remember anything. Indeed, two brothers, I often wonder about a woodchuck's wood. What's going on down there in that flappy tail? I don't know. Who even knows what a woodchuck's genitals are doing? Probably made out of wood for durability, like a mahogany. Hey, ladies, I got a mahogany wiener over here. You're not impressing us, woodchuck. I think I am. I tried that line, the old mahogany wiener bit. Doesn't work. Doesn't work at all. Ew, sparkling water. Let's see if anybody's on the bat phone. Nobody's on the bat phone. No bat wing, no nothing. So yeah, why do I think this is going to go way up? Because every time they push down even a little bit, I think the dip is just being completely bought up. Now, what are they trying to do? They're obviously, I think, trying to push back down to this level, come in the same way they came out. You see, this is pretty much the exact same slope in and out here until you get to right here. But they try for this massive sell-off. They reach this exact same point right here at 56.42. Look at where this is. Exactly. Maybe it's 56.45, but this is no accident. This is programmed in. The bottom of these three loops, besides these loop and dumps where they're trying to push down to 56 and they only finally get it over here on the third try, but where it pushes up and where it finds resistance, almost the same point. I mean, it's right here. No, I'm sorry, the support, not the resistance. Then it becomes resistance here, and the difference is huge green volume. It's got to break through. What are they going to do? Just keep fixing the price at $56 and killing calls week after week after week? It's a weak strategy because you're already losing money on the price action from 33. You've been shorting the whole way up. You can't short enough from 60 to make, $4 pay. They're not shorting, they're not shorting from here. They're dumping, if anything. And it's weak. There's a hell of a lot more green volume at the top. There's plenty of willing and able buyers for this stock at 60. Why would you want to sell at 56 then? Because you're fixing the price, you're killing calls, you're trying to accumulate the very few shares that are left. But I mean, it's like you're sitting there trying to build a campfire and you've got, a huge pile of TNT next to you. You're like, oh, I just wish I could light this match. I just wish I could. You're like, it's like they're just like whistling past the graveyard, rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, whatever you want to call it, just burying their head in the sand. It's like, guys, you're shorting 26 million shares at a high borrow fee on a company that almost everybody thinks is worth double this or, at least 50% more than this. Where is the off ramp? Where are the outs? And that's the point about shorting from the lows. When you're just so arrogant that you're shorting the sector, you're shorting these other companies that are broke, you don't bother to take a look at CRISPR's balance sheet. You don't bother to take a look at their pipeline, their executive team, their Nobel Prize winners. You just go, oh, these genetic engineering, medicine companies are not the flavor of the month. They're not in vogue right now. So let's just short the whole company into the ground. And then a lot of people realize, well, wait, this is a really good company with huge potential that's vastly undervalued. And these pharma companies want to make a deal and they have good readout. Why would you short this? They're like, short it. We went to Ivy League schools. Short the stock. Tell you what you're not shorting is Peruvian Wham Wham. No shorties there. Hey, Betty, hold on my calls. I'm going to be doing a bunch of gaggers, just short and crisper. Oh, anyway. Not implying that all these short sellers are cocaine addicts. Just recreational dabblers. Cheap Armani suits. Bathing in Dracar Noir. I don't know where they are, premium of the option. Perhaps they finally got a room. I don't know. Whatever you do, don't sub and like. Not a lurker comes in, tries to rile y'all up. Get y'all on a big fan bus. Got my Not a Lurker hat on honor of Not a Lurker's late birthday. Oh, man looks good. Man looks good for 72, I'll tell you. 44 grandchildren. 44 grandchildren, Not a Lurker. Can't even believe it. Oh, anyway. What's going on, guys? Yeah. Don't sub and like. Yeah, I don't know who else is here. What's up, Maria? What's up, two brothers? Yeah, not many people here. The great Bryson, of course. The great Pat Man is here. Greetings from the People's Republic of Colorado. What's up, Pat Man? How you doing? He's got the bat signal up. I think Not a Lurker saw him. Hola, amigo poco loco. Saludos. What's up, Juan? How you doing, buddy? Juan, 1, 2, 3, 4. He just spells it out for you. He's like, it's easy. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's Juan. He's clapping. He's got, I don't know if those are chili peppers or Santa's stockings or what those are. I think they're chili peppers. I don't know. I might just be typecasting you because you have a Hispanic name, but there's a lot of that going around. Don't go down to a Home Depot, Juan. I'm going to get tackled. Let's see. Good thing I'm a huge fat white guy. There's no confusion. No, I don't mean to make light. It's just tons of shit going on. Whatever side of any political issues you're on, man, it's weird times, man. Just, running around tackling like gardeners and roofers. I don't get it. But I'm all for getting the fucking criminals, that's for sure. But I don't know. It's just weird times, guys. Putin's threatening nukes again, and then Trump said, hey, we'll give you 50 days to make a decision. Like, dude, 50 days forever. Vladimir Putin could, reinvent an entirely new, false, made-up narrative in that amount of time. Let's see. I don't know. I didn't really have anything else, guys. It's just, I can't figure this short position out. I can't figure out what they're trying to do. I can't figure out how they're going to do it. I can't figure out how they're going to get the shares to do it. I mean, their intention is obviously to push this way down and cover, but they hit a wall here at 56.42. And it ain't pivoting the way they wanted it to pivot. This is not a trap door. This is a teeter-totter. That's what we call this. This teeter-tottered on them. And there's just if you look at these dailies, it's all green through here. All the volume is green. This is where all the volume of the day is. This part where it trades down from, 56.50 or whatever down to 55.50, like precisely $1. And again, it stops at exactly 3 and it starts at exactly 11:30, whatever it is, or it really starts here, I guess. Really starts at 1. So between exactly 1 p.m. and exactly 3 p.m. or 2:58, they trade the stock down, almost exactly $1. You just can't make this stuff up, guys. This is all algo price fixing. Say, how do they fix the price? Well, they put a ton of shares down here for sale at a much lower price than the market. It eats up the entire order book. They put a ton of shares at that bid and ask. They eat up everything above. And, often they do these huge waterfalls at odd times. Often they don't do it like right at 105 because you might see, buyers coming in. They know there's no buyers coming in. They can tell. They can look at the flow of orders from here and know exactly what it's going to be here. But this whole drop is just anemic volume. It's just nothing but price fixing. There's no organic selling here. I know retail's not selling this, $110 or $90 stock for 55 for no reason, just to bail these pathetic shorts out. How high can CRISPR go? I mean, I think it's worth over 100 right now. I mean, just the value of the pipeline, the cash, the management. I mean, these guys are executing. These guys are getting good results. I know they pushed back some readout, but I still think their in vivo program should be worth tens of billions of dollars. I mean, as Casgevy is worth $9 billion, which I'm not really sure that it is. Maybe Vertex overpaid for it. Well, time will tell. But their in vivo pipeline should be worth many, many times that, particularly with the readout they're getting on the cardiovascular program. So I don't know how high it can go, but much, much higher than this, I would say. No, I haven't talked about testicles yet, at least not that much. What's up, Low Country Luton Pone? Glad to see you joining us here in the Mariposa room. Let's see. The great No Country, or not No Country, I'm thinking No Country for Old Men. Where does he work? Did you not hear me? I ain't at liberty to give out no information about our residents. Where does he work? I have an air tank here with a cattle prod, and if your husband wasn't taking a dump in the back of the trailer, I would have just splattered your brains inside your own head, not even leaving a trace or a slug. They would have just found you with all that makeup on in here saying, I can't give out no information. How many times have you guys seen No Country for Old Men? I assume at least 100. One of the greatest lines in movie history is when they ask Sheriff Tommy Lee Jones if he wants more. It's like, can I freshen up that coffee for you? He goes, you better had. He's like, you better had, Loretta. I don't want to go out and face something I do not understand. And I'm waiting on you. That's just vanity. Maurice Minifield there at the end. Brilliant performance. His cousin. Now, Uncle Earl came to meet his reward. Yeah, all the time she was digging out there in that hard caliche. Anyway, one of the things I like to do in my spare time is just do the character voices from No Country Old Man and randomly recite lines from the movie. Yeah, filtered tap water. I got sparkling, not a liquor. How long will it take you to get those chicken coops out of the bed? What? You mean airport or airstrip? Airport, that's El Paso. Anyway, so I'm obviously completely mentally brain scrambled here. Been a really long day. Anyway, guys, that was ostensibly about CRISPR. They're just short way, way, way too many shares into what I think is still a bull run. They're doing everything they can to step on it, but I don't think they're doing a very good job. This is another good article by Touchdown Mark Gerstein. CRISPR Therapeutics' bright future is coming into focus. Rating. I haven't read this one. I just skimmed it, but curing disease opposed to just making symptoms a big deal. The approach can be too future. I think a lot of people just don't understand this. They don't understand the potential. That's what he's saying. CRISPR picked up some big expressions of support, including from HHS Secretary Kennedy. The stock responded with a strong rally. Meanwhile, Casgevy is now in the marketplace, flexing its muscles. Companies still face a long path to go. Now it's having a clear strategy, raising its ratings to buy. First wrote about CRISPR, deciding the future of medicine. Future of medicine wasn't originally my phrase, but as an emerging biotech, I'm not going to read you guys this whole article. I should probably go back and read it myself and see if it says anything worthwhile before I pull it up. But that's kind of the nature of un poco mas. You just basically get a big wet steaming, or it can't really be wet and steaming, but a big steaming pile of crap. You get the idea. Not to mix my metaphors. A big wet sack of shit or a big steaming pile of shit. Pick your poison. I would probably rather have the big wet bag of shit because it's not going to smell as bad as the big steaming pile in the sun. If it's already in a bag, you're going to be less likely to step in it. Because if a dog shit is anywhere in like 100-foot radius from me, my shoe, my big size 13, hones in on it like a fucking radar. No, don't step over there. There's a big pile of dog shit. I'm like, where? Like stumbling around doing a fucking river dance. So you just stepped in it. Really? Yeah, 4 times, you big fat idiot. How'd you step in this? Didn't you feel it? How'd you step in the same pile of dog shit over and over again with both shoes? I can't see my feet. Ugh. Out on a high note, guys.